all started 1361 days ago, when Nintendo announced that a sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was in development. Ever since that moment, fans have been begging to see more, leading into this huge apocalypse we are currently in. Neither do they know that Breath of the Wild can already be played on the Nintendo Switch since the day it released. Talks started around January of 2013, when in their Wii U Direct, Nintendo revealed that they were prepping a new Zelda game made from the ground up on Wii U. Besides not showing anything on the game, rethinking the conventions of Zelda. Like if you're supposed to complete the dungeons in a certain order, and if you're supposed to play the game by yourself. Well, on E3 2014, Eiji Aonuma said it was the team's focus to create a 3D open world like the original Zelda for the NES. As the games transitioned to 3D, it became harder and harder to do such a thing because the N64 itself is already choking on its graphics, let alone it run a vast open world for the player to explore. Though Ocarina of Time kind of did such a thing, it still had its limitations and had these all the way up to Skyward Sword, where the world was literally split up into different areas. They basically wanted to step away from the more linear adventures of Skyward Sword and more so go back to the goals of the first Zelda game. We also got our first look of the world of Hyrule in this game, and damn, that looks phenomenal. We also got a little teaser of how the game was going to look in action, and some people even thought Link looked like a girl. Ha, the good old days. Besides that, it was also revealed that the game would release in 2015. At the Game Awards of 2014, they showed Miyamoto and Eiji Aonuma playing the game in a very early build of the game. Miyamoto even asked the question if Aonuma was sure that it would release in 2015, and he said,
"Yes, all of the staff members are working together and doing their best."
So of course, everyone was very excited for this game to release in 2015. But then, it started. The lies. In March of 2015, there was a small presentation where Aonuma announced that they were not going to reach the deadline of 2015. I'm sure they could have certainly released the game in 2015, but that the team had so many new ideas that the game had to have been delayed. Well, either way, at the end of December of the same year, we got a release date of 2016, and we had to wait a while until the next time we'd hear of the game again. A full-fledged trailer was finally shown at E3 of 2016, showing the beautiful open world and giving the game an actual title reveal. The game was delayed one more time when we saw it again at the January Switch presentation, revealing its final release date being March 3rd, 2017, releasing alongside Nintendo's new console, the Nintendo Switch. So, after 4 excruciatingly long years, this game finally released, and was the wait worth it? Breath of the Wild is possibly one of the best games I have ever played. It mixes some elements of the other Zelda games with a beautifully crafted open world experience, and is one of the first games that really made me a Zelda fan. I only played Ocarina of Time on the 3DS, and after beating the game, I bought many other Zelda games, which I eventually plan on beating as well. So far I've only beaten Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword, but this just shows how much of a Zelda fan this game has made me. As for Breath of the Wild, sure, the game is far from perfect. There are some flaws which I'll get into later, but this game is absolutely phenomenal. First off, the world. Oh god, the world is so beautiful. I remember my first time playing this game, and it was so breathtaking to see the world in its full glory. Also great is the fact that it just basically throws you right into the game. Some open world games have the audacity to give you a long-winded tutorial before you can start exploring the world, but let me introduce you to the Great Plateau. It serves as a tutorial area of the game, and it's basically a smaller version of the huge open world you are about to explore. Well, anyways, the story goes like this. After Link wakes up after a 100-year slumber, Link talks to some homeless guy who says after you just raise a tower out of the ground, then you need to go to 4 of these weird structures. After Link does that and meet the old man on top of some roof, he reveals that he's the king of Hyrule and simultaneously Zelda's father. He says that Calamity Ganon took over Hyrule Castle and that Zelda is keeping him from wreaking havoc over Hyrule. Anyways, your task consists of freeing the 4 divine beasts and seal away Calamity Ganon. Now, that is the main task, but of course it is Breath of the Wild, so you're basically free to do whatever you want. The best thing about Breath of the Wild is just running around, exploring the world, killing your time, and every now and then you'll encounter a shrine, which is basically a miniaturized version of a dungeon. Now, if we follow the main quest, we get to the Divine Beast, and these are the main dungeons in the game. Remember at E3 2014 when they said they'd rethink completing dungeons in a certain order? Well, they certainly implemented that, because you can tackle any of these 4 at any time in any order. In fact, you don't even have to defeat the Divine Beast, you can tackle Calamity Ganon right when you leave the Great Plateau. Now, people complained at Breath of the Wild for having a lack of focus and story unlike other Zelda games, where the story was the main focus. Sure, I really liked Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword, but the older games, especially Skyward Sword, have a lack of exploration compared to Breath of the Wild. So, though I don't think that a lack of story is really a big deal, I sure hope that Tears of the Kingdom will focus a bit more on the story. Another complaint a lot of people had was the weapons breaking. Sure, it sucks that when you're in a battle your weapons break, but it gives you need to be more creative with approaching enemies. Me myself, yes, I fucking despise it, but it almost always kept me on my toes at any time during a battle. You must always keep in mind that your weapons can break at any time. And yeah, I hope that Tears of the Kingdom will fix these issues when that eventually releases. Besides these little complaints, Breath of the Wild really does a lot of things right, but there is certainly some areas of the game that can be improved, and that's why there was also DLC released for this game. To be honest, I kinda forgot that DLC came out for this game, but hey, I'm still going to cover it anyways. The DLC released in 2 packs. The first pack added some stuff that, to be honest, should have been in the game from the very start. The Master Mode, which is basically a hard mode for the game, is a prime example of this. But there was also some new stuff added. Trial of the Sword is one of these, which is a series of 45 challenges, which, when accessed, the game will get rid of all your items in the game, and your goal is to defeat all enemies in all 45 rooms. But because you don't have your items, you have to be creative in how to tackle these enemies, and can be really challenging at some parts. Besides this, there were only a few cool outfits added, which are awesome by the way. Almost all of them are throwbacks to older Zelda games, like Majora's Mask from, oh, wait, what was this game called again? Oh, right, Majora's Mask, and the tunic from Wind Waker. Also a Nintendo Switch shirt, so that Link can be a walking advertising board for Nintendo. Pack 2 is much more interesting than Pack 1, because it gives us more of a look into the story of Breath of the Wild, mainly the champions and their relation with Link and Zelda. It gives a huge task to backtracking to the Divine Beast and refighting the Blights all over again, which will result in your champion abilities enhanced with a shorter recharge time. It also added new shrines you had to beat to unlock a new Divine Beast, which, when beaten, will result in a huge boss fight and grant you the Master Cycle, which... awesome. But still, after these DLC packs, there are still a lot more things that can be improved on Breath of the Wild, but we have to wait a little bit to see that happen. So yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is in dire need of releasing within the next 70 days, and hopefully, simultaneously, will shut everybody up, which will bring an end to this apocalypse. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.